Station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. Enough is enough. The F&M says more urgency needed in the crime fight. But the Office of the Prime Minister saying that we can skip, chew, and walk at the same time. The Shantytown Task Force to travel to Abaco this week. And we're counting down to Junior Junkanoo. We're getting all the details this morning. That's all straight ahead. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up. It's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's there. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Duquesa Dean will be joining us. Also this morning in business, we're talking about customer service. How are we doing? Are we making any improvements, or are things getting even worse? It's all straight ahead. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, F&M leader Michael Pintard calling on the Davis administration to act with urgency to address the country's crime crisis, saying he has yet to see any short or long-term solutions put in place to address the issue. At a press conference outside Office of the Prime Minister on West Bay Street yesterday, Pintard also criticized Davis for traveling to Uganda last Friday to attend a conference while the murder count continues to climb. 17 people have been murdered since the start of the new year, 16 in New Providence alone. Last week, the government released a 5-pillar plan to fight crime, which includes measures like tougher legislation for gang activity and a focus on school policing. Ahead of the plan's release, Davis made a national address on crime, pledging tough action. Since the address, though, 6 more people have been murdered. Pintard says despite this, there appears to be no comprehensive plan that will work in the short, medium, and long term. He called on the government to work with community stakeholders to develop workable solutions. Police have said gang violence is the cause of much of the carnage playing out almost daily in New Providence, but Pintard says gangs are not the only reasons for the climbing murder count. Meanwhile, Director of Communications in the Office of the Prime Minister, Latrell Ramming, accused Pintard of playing politics on the issue of crime. He's pushing back against criticisms regarding Prime Minister Davis's recent trip to Uganda, suggesting the Prime Minister is quite capable of handling multiple matters of importance at the same time. The Bahamas remains committed to helping the people of Haiti find peace and stability. That's according to Prime Minister Davis. He told leaders during the 19th Summit of the Non-Aligned Movement in Uganda that along with other CARICOM members, the country remains committed to helping the Haitian people find a solution, a Haitian solution, led by the people of Haiti. Prime Minister says helping Haiti is the morally right thing to do. Members of the Unregulated Communities Action Task Force will travel to Abaco this week to assess the shanty towns on the island, which have long been a source of concern and distress. Minister of Works Clay Sweeting says the task force will travel and meet with the community. He says they want to make sure that all due diligence is done so that when they take action, they're fully covered. The task force has demolished structures in Cool Acres and All Saints Way, both in New Providence. Abaco residents have petitioned the government to take action amid concerns about the expansion of shantytowns on that island. The coroner's inquest into the deaths of alleged gang leader Tony Jamal Smith and two of his associates getting underway now. Smith, the alleged leader of the Border Boys gang, Trevor Cooper and Valentino Pratt were shot and killed by police officers while they executed a search warrant on a home at Newgate Road in Blair Estates in May of 2019. Police allegedly found 3 guns, 23 pounds of marijuana, and an assortment of ammunition inside the home. Smith's widow, Kim Smith, Jane Hilton, Shaquille Morley, and Christina Wilson were also in the home, were subsequently charged with possession of drugs, firearms, and ammunition. Mrs. Smith was murdered in Freeport back in May 2020. The inquest is expected to continue today. The inquest is not a trial and does not determine criminal or civil liability. And a Stapleton Gardens man charged with murder after he allegedly shot and killed a man at the intersection of Village Road and Parkgate Road in broad daylight. Prosecutors allege that Sidney Hart, while with another person, fatally shot Jason Lamb on January 17th. According to police, Lamb was at the intersection when gunmen pulled alongside his car and opened fire. The 24-year-old Lamb, who was on bail for the March 2021 shooting death of Antonio Russell on Bernard Road, was pronounced dead at the scene. 33-year-old Hart was not required to plead to the murder charge when he made his first court appearance before Acting Chief Magistrate Roberto Reckley. He was remanded to prison because the magistrate lacks the jurisdiction to consider bail for the offense. However, Hart can apply for bail in the Supreme Court. The matter has been adjourned to March 25th for the presentation of a voluntary bill of indictment. Hart didn't have a lawyer. Overseas, Palestinian militants carrying out the deadliest single attack on Israel's forces since the Hamas raid that triggered the war, killing 21 soldiers. A significant setback that could add to mounting calls for a ceasefire. Hours later, the military announced that ground forces had encircled the southern city of Khan Yunis, Gaza's second largest city. That marked a major advance, but it was unclear how much closer it would bring Israel to defeating Hamas or freeing Israeli hostages. Two central war aims that have proved increasingly elusive. It's also unclear the impact it will have on ceasefire talks that appear to be gathering pace. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu mourning the soldiers, but vowed to press ahead with the offensive until absolute victory over Hamas. A magnitude 7.1 earthquake striking a sparsely populated part of China's western Xinjiang region early today, killing 3 people and causing extensive damage in freezing cold weather. It was the latest in a series of temblors and natural disasters to hit the country's west. The quake rocked part of the country after 2 a.m., according to the China Earthquake Network Center. Rescue crews were rushed to the area with about 1,000 on hand by midday. In sports, with a handful of athletes qualifying for the 2024 Carifta Games, the 6th DTSP Wolfpack Beverly Wallace Whitfield Track Classic over the weekend, the list of qualifiers has grown now to 20, just 2 regular track and field meets into the season. The 4th Sonia Knowles Track and Field Classic, hosted by Redline Athletics, is set for this weekend. Still, there is a little over 2 months to go before the staging of the 51st Carifta Games in Grenada. That junior regional meet is set for Easter weekend, March 30th to April 1st. Read more about how we're looking in today's Guardian Sports section. An historic night in the NBA. Joel Embiid scoring 70 points in Philadelphia, and Karl Anthony Towns had 62 in Minnesota. The elite big men paired up to do something the NBA hadn't seen on the same day in more than 45 years. So, January 22nd, 2024 was a day unlike any other in NBA history. On the 18th anniversary of Kobe Bryant's 81-point game for the LA Lakers, the second-best scoring game in NBA history, Embiid and Towns put on a pair of dazzling historic scoring shows of their own with a pair of career highs and franchise record efforts. Embiid's 70 points set the 76ers record in Philadelphia, and they won over the San Antonio 133 to 123. Towns had 62 points, 2 more than his previous career best, but the Wolves still lost to Charlotte, 128 to 125. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your first look at weather brought to you by Easy Car Sales. We've got strong high pressure that continues to produce fresh to strong winds and hazardous marine conditions across the country. As these conditions continue to persist, small craft operators and beachgoers advised to remain in port or stay out of the water due to the hazardous conditions. And the public's also advised to travel along eastern coastal roads with extreme caution due to sea spray and possible overtopping waves, especially the Glass Window Bridge in Eleuthera. For all areas today, forecast calls for variably cloudy, warm, and breezy conditions with a few quick passing showers. That will continue through tonight. Small craft operators again advised to remain in port. Winds east to southeast at 20 to 25 knots in the northwest and central Bahamas, but 20 to 30 knots in the southeastern islands. Seas 5 to 8 feet near shore, but up to 11 feet offshore and along Atlantic exposures in large easterly swells. Temperatures today, we're looking at highs getting to around 75 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 68 Fahrenheit, 20 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. This weather check brought to you by Easy Car Sales. With the cost of gas today, it's time to go green. Drive an electric vehicle from Easy Car Sales. Save big on fuel and maintenance costs. Take a spin and find out how to dump the pump at easy242.com. Let's take a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Champ, baby girl, cable guy is here.
Since the very beginning, you have been with us.
This is called wave, and this is called the internet.
Okay.
All right, so you can
For
type
over
it.
2 decades, we've been with you every step of the way.
Weibo is total class. Look at her go. She's in front.
I follow me. I'm president.
So yeah, times may have changed, and so have your needs as our valued customers. But some connections stand the test of time. Rev, we're with you.
Struggling to repay your loan? Let us help you get back on track with payment terms that suits your financial situation and improve your credit score and credit report with the Bahamas Credit Bureau. Inquire about our restructured loans today. Call us at 356-7764.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. 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 Wake up, wake up.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Duquesa Dean.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Good to see you.
Good to be here.
You're looking all golden today.
Yes. I know.
It's wonderful.
Thank you.
So, a lot to talk about in the news this morning. Also, we're going to get a preview of Junior Junkanoo, which is coming up. We're going to get details about that. And then later in business, we're talking about customer service. You talk about this.
All the time. Yeah.
I'm really glad to have your expertise this morning. As we're just trying to do periodic estimates, evaluations on how we're doing.
Yeah, checking the pulse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
No, we failing.
Oh, boy. That's coming up in business, folks. But right now, it's time to talk about what else is in the news. And in the news, enough is enough. That's the word from the Free National Movement. The opposition says they're not feeling what the government has put forward as their plan to deal with the violent crimes we're seeing. And that this is going to have any medium to long-term impact on what we are going through. We'll talk about it. But let's take a listen to what happened yesterday and what they're planning to do, because there's more action coming this week.
Oh, great.
Take a listen to this report from our Vonique Toot.
We're offering help. We've been conciliatory. We have been measured in our statements. But enough is enough. They are not serious and not attentive to detail and not doing their job.
As the country recorded 3 more murders over the weekend, pushing the murder count for the year to 17, Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard and party members gathered outside the office of the Prime Minister on Monday, urging Prime Minister Philip Davis to return home from Uganda to deal with the country's crime problem.
And while we are here, raising our voices, calling on this government to act with a sense of urgency, the Prime Minister is halfway around the world at a meeting that other colleagues could have attended in his stead. And he's busy in the safari.
Several police officers looked on as Pintard spoke with reporters behind barricades blocking party members' access to the entrance of OPM. Amid the bloody start to the new year, there have been calls for the resumption of capital punishment. When asked the party's views on that topic, Pintard said the FNM has not yet discussed its position internally, but he does not think it is the only solution to the country's crime crisis.
I'm on the record as saying I have supported capital punishment. A couple of things about it, and I want you to hear me carefully. One is, it is not going to solve all of our problems. That's why we need the range of programs, short-term, medium, and long-term programs. That's one point. So Bahamians should not be lulled to sleep that if you had capital punishment tomorrow, all of a sudden all of the murders will stop. We need social intervention.
Pintard says the FNM has presented a list of recommendations to the Davis administration on how to address the crime problem and even attended a crime conclave, which he says failed to come up with solutions. However, OPM Communications Director Latrey Ramming said Pintard left that meeting early. He dismissed the party's decision to hold a news conference at the office of the Prime Minister as political grandstanding.
The opposition had a choice. They could have chosen country over politics. Obviously, they choose politics. They could have choose unity over politics. Obviously, they choose politics. And I'm disappointed because I think this was the perfect opportunity for Mr. Pintard to demonstrate to the country that he is prepared to hold hands on an issue that is so fundamental to our national security. I think Bahamians are sick of the politics. They are sick of the grandstanding.
Ramming says many of the recommendations made by the opposition already exist in the government's plan and insisted the Davis administration would be willing to meet with FNM leaders.
If the opposition is interested in a one-on-one meeting, we're prepared to do that. I think I want to reiterate the point that there is an open door policy for anyone who's interested in having a national conversation on the issue of crime, whether it's the COI, whether it's the FNM, whether it's the DNA, whatever political organization, demonstrate that they are serious. They are prepared to put country over politics. We have an open arm, but what we won't do, and what we won't be a part of is the political games and the grandstanding.
However, Pintard insisted it's not about politics, adding the FNM has accepted responsibility for where it has fallen short in the past.
Absolute nonsense. And let's be real. Outside of myself in the opposition, every government minister has 2 or 3 or 4 police officers strapped, protecting them. So what the hell are they talking about? It's not about brownie points. We live in this country. We've had politicians die as a result of violence. So this isn't about that.
The FNM leader urged Bahamians who are concerned about crime to make their voices heard outside the House of Assembly on Wednesday morning. Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Vonnie Toot.
Okay, so you heard that. They're planning on a protest tomorrow morning outside the House.
Okay.
Okay, let's get your reaction to all of that. You heard everybody in there. You heard the opposition leader. You heard the director of communications with the Office of the Prime Minister, right? And he's defending the Prime Minister's trip to Uganda, saying, quote, the Prime Minister traveled to Uganda for the purpose of establishing a diplomatic relationship with Kenya. We believe that we could skip, chew, and walk at the same time. We have a country to govern.
I mean,
You can skip and walk.
No, you can't skip and walk at the same time.
But we get it. You get what you're saying, the train. We get it.
I mean, I think that leaders have designated other leaders to be in place. Like, the leader can't be everywhere at one time. I actually had this discussion with someone yesterday. And so if there is a minister for national security, right, he is the person that this dialogue can be directed to, or who should be being more vocal or showing up a bit more in the absence of the country leader. I don't think that he should have to be strapped to the country to get things done. I mean, in this age of technology, they can talk. But the person that has responsibility for national security is the one that we should see. It's the person that I believe needs to be a bit more vocal and talk about the solutions. And to be honest, Dwight, I have actually been looking to see more roadblocks or to see the execution of the plan that was spoken about, was it last week or the week before that, where we would become inconvenient citizens because of all of whatever these measures are.
You haven't noticed more police officers?
I haven't seen more of them.
Okay.
Now, that could be because I'm not in the streets all the time, but at the times when I am out, as inconvenient as it could be to us, I'd love to see them every day. I'd love to see
more inconvenience.
Yes, I want them to randomly stop cars, be checking for licenses. Do you have a license to drive? I want them to randomly be checking for insurance on cars, because if your car is not insured and it hit mine, what recourse is there to go through a whole civil suit to try to get money from you, and you tell the court you could pay $25 a week and I never get paid? I want to see them out there doing
like a
more
personal
searches.
story.
No, there's no story.
that happened to you?
It's prevention. No.
Okay, that sounded like very specific.
Do some searches if you see some funny looking people. Stop the car, search for weapons. Like, come on, I would love to see. Yes, it may be inconvenient, but you know what it's going to show? That we're taking some action and that there are consequences. Lock people up. Put them in jail if they break the law. Because no consequences means that there's absolutely there's no enforcement of the law.
Okay, interesting. Well, I've seen a noticeable increase in patrol cars.
Patrol.
Up and
Okay.
about. Yeah. But is it netting results? I don't know. I can't say. But interesting views coming from everybody here. Let's get your reaction to it. What do you think of what the opposition's saying? Is it too soon to be saying these things? Or, well, since, as the point was raised, right? Since the national address and since the crime plan was revealed, we've had quite a few incidents, a number of murders.
And I
then.
like that they're keeping the fire to making sure that this doesn't go away. They're putting the fire to the government to say, hey, there was a plan. What's the next step? What are we doing?
Yeah.
And if it's grandstanding, let it be. But it's keeping it in the news. It's keeping it as a focal point, because 17 murders in 23 days.
Madness. Absolutely. All right, let's hear from you. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us at MorningBlend969, Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796, or call the toll-free line 242-300-5720. Let's take this call. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight.
Good morning.
And good morning, Duquesa.
Good morning.
Wonderful. Grandstanding is exactly what it is, Miss Dean. Grandstanding. I guess stop at Pintard's place. What the hell he talking about? Because if my memory serves me correct, take back a few years when Mr. Davis was in opposition with the billboards with 400 and 500 and 600 murders all around the place, that we had to push him back for fear that the tourists may see that. You know what I mean? What was the Free National Movement administration doing then with reference to crime? Nothing. You understand? He talking about the Davis administration ain't doing nothing. But he was in one crime meeting the other day, must be last week, in one crime meeting, and he get up and gone out, say he got something else to do. And if I remember correctly, I heard out of the Prime Minister's mouth himself asking Mr. Pintard to come on. This ain't no time to play politics. Let's partnership with this crime thing and get this done. He refused to do it. So I don't know what he's talking about. All it is politics and grandstanding, while 17 to 18 people have died. You understand? And Mr. Davis, I ain't care no brief for him either. Because the countries he's been visiting lately kind of shady. Because Rwanda, we know what happened with Rwanda.
Uganda.
With Hotel Rwanda.
Yes.
Uganda.
President Obote and the genocide, him and Idi Amin been doing in those countries. I trying to figure out why Mr. Davis going there. What he trying to learn from them? Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you very much. The meeting was held there, but Uganda is yes, not the place you want to be. It's wild. The president's he's been the president since 1986.
Yeah,
what is that? Not the right name that you called, though. You're calling out all the names you know, but that wasn't the name.
Definitely not a democracy.
86?
Yes.
Okay. But yeah. Let's take another call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Blend.
Hi. Good morning.
I really feel inspired when the two of you are on.
Good morning.
Yeah, it sort of makes me feel good. But right, I thought skipping and chewing and walking are basically natural processes, like riding a bike. That shouldn't be something you could say to me to impress me that you're doing something wonderful. Think about it.
Is riding a bike natural?
Well, once you learn it.
Once you learn it, right. Once you learn it.
I can't see him coming to say, and as a reason for how great he is, that there's something that he can do that everybody could learn naturally. But that's not what I call for. But you know, what we need from both the Prime Minister and the opposition, I think, is a sort of a structured educational approach to this crime thing. Let the country see that they are in unison, you know, because it can only happen when the parliamentarians are in chemistry with one another and not in conflict, not trying to tear down, not looking for a reason to make you look bad. Because I don't know if you are, but I'm tired of it.
Me too.
Absolutely.
And this tearing down is being reflective, right, when you think about it, in our social behavior, right? Let's compare. In India, since we travel around the world, we have about, 500 members in cabinet? 500. They have their challenges, but look, when a law is passed, everyone is on one accord. Now, that displays some level of maturity that we don't have here. And just to bring it home, when Modi leaves on the state visit, he doesn't have to worry about a parliamentarian selling citizenship.
Wow.
You see, but right, remember I was telling you some time ago about Jupiter being at opposition. It happens every 13 months. Right, if you were really looking into this, you would see some similarities in our behavior when Jupiter is at opposition. Now, remember now, whenever the Earth is directly between the Sun and Jupiter, that's when Jupiter is at opposition.
So what should we do? Should we blow up Jupiter and then we'll be free?
No, I want you... Right. I'm trying to show you from an astro-theological point of view how our behavior is challenged by the orbs. You follow me?
I hear you. You see, that's going to cause a lot of people to say they had no control over the things they did. And we don't want that because they are very much aware of the foolishness they're doing. And we don't want them to claim, it's the stars.
No, but you are influenced, so you need to be able to grow.
Right. Personal growth is important.
You can't let gravity keep you short. You got to get tall.
Well, like you said, some people are thinking skipping and walking and chewing are a lot.
Magnificent.
So, right.
Mike, come on, right so in the shoes.
We have challenges. Absolutely. Thank you very much. All right. Let's take this call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
So, one of the concerns that the opposition has on this most recent trip to Uganda and we acknowledge the fact that our Prime Minister has other work to do, that he's got to walk, chew gum at the same time. But the optics that were revealed, not by him or by his press secretary, but by African media, to see our Prime Minister on a jaunt feeding the chimpanzees while we are at home with people mourning death after death after death was a very bad look. And the question that our Prime Minister now needs to answer is who is advising him on these outings? Because what the message that it sends is that he just doesn't care. We all go ahead and we'll hold a little prayer vigil in Rawson Square, but then I am going to go feed the chimpanzees. It was a very bad look, and I think this is something that rises to the level of an apology to the Bahamian public.
Wow. Okay, so we're picking up on the voice. FNM Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands. What's going to be happening tomorrow? Tell us about that.
Well, we are in the middle of an existential crisis in this country. We have had a serious problem with murders in the Bahamas for more than 40 years. Okay? It has now gotten to the point where it is no longer just bad. It is horrendous. So when you watch a murder rate that is 5 times, 6 times the level of our big brother to the north, the United States, where the Bahamas is the number 11th most violent country in the world, it says that we have a serious problem that demands all hands on deck. We have pled with this administration to let everybody sit down and let us all contribute to the discussion. They have rebuffed those efforts on our part, and the previous caller talked about the leader and deputy leader walking out. This was a meeting in March of 2022 when we had the most violent month in the history of the Bahamas, 22 murders in 1 month.
Oh, it wasn't like last week?
No, it was 2022, March of 2022.
Oh, wow.
We gave the government of the Bahamas a written list of suggestions. And they have said to us in no uncertain terms, we got this. Mm. We don't need, we can deal with this the way we see fit.
Mm.
Wow.
Wow.
All right. So, and the protest tomorrow, the demonstration, that's going to be at what time?
I think it's just before 10 o'clock.
Mm.
It will coincide with the start of the House of Assembly. And I think it is going to be important at the seat of power for this matter to take center stage. There's a demand, a requirement for the interests and concerns of the people to become the number one priority. When our Prime Minister was leader of the opposition, he was emphatic, he was passionate about why he felt that the concerns about murders was representation of truth. And he supported billboards showing the murders in the Bahamas. Well, all of a sudden, his rhetoric has changed, and it is no longer a priority. Well, we're going to make it a priority, and it's going to stay a priority until we bring this level of violence to, well, I don't even know if you can use the term irreducible minimum, because we are in deep trouble and have been so for a while.
Mm-hmm. I know we were scheduled to have the leader on with us tomorrow morning, but just want to ask you, what would be one or two of the things you would do right now or would have wanted to have heard from the Prime Minister last week?
Well, certainly one of the things that was very disappointing was in the non-police side of the 5-point crime plan was the fleshing out of the types of social programs and the interaction with the faith-based organizations to see exactly how they would play a role in helping to mitigate the level of crime. And so we believe that the programmatic approach that prevents, not that interdicts or that diagnoses or that solves crime is where our focus also needs to be. And so in our plan, we have made some serious recommendations about those types of programs, and they were published in the Nassau Guardian just yesterday, I believe, in a letter penned by the deputy leader of the Free National Movement, and I would recommend it to all of your listeners and viewers to take a look at.
Okay. Go ahead. Dr. Sands, thank you so much for calling in. Hopefully we can have you on very soon. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Go ahead. Let's take another call before we get to your text messages here. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight.
Morning.
Hi.
And good morning.
Tukwesa.
Tukwesa.
Yes.
Okay, yes, guys. Good morning to you. Hey, Dwight, I'm listening to the chairman of the Free National Movement just now, right? It brings me right back to the point that I normally, when I come on your radio show, remind you of. Status quo management, right? We continue to hear and to see the PLP and the FLM managing the status quo, right? We can't change this country with that, right? We need people to be able to think out of the box. The Free National Movement had murders after murders under their watch. The PLP before that, they had murders after murders under their watch. The FLM before that had murders. When are we, the Bahamian people, is coming to the conclusion that the PLP and the Free National Movement has no plan for the crime, immigration, economic, no situation. These people, all they have is rhetoric. we continue to get these nice, eloquent speeches from these politicians, but they are not listening to this gentleman this morning. He still wasn't able to say anything significant to make Bahamian people comfortable. That if we decide to give the FNM a chance, there's nothing, Dwight. And I really believe that we in this country, we have to stand up against what we're getting from our leaders, because we are paying a lot in taxes and we are paying a lot in salary, and we are not getting what we are paying for from our leaders, Dwight and De Cressa. The Bahamas has to make a change from this mindset. We have to. And it ain't about the PLP, the FNM, or nobody. It's about saving the Bahamas and putting the Bahamas in the position that we know we could be in, man. Right? We don't have to, because we are Bahamians all over this country, all over this world, making significant contribution in every aspect of life. But once they come to the Bahamas, it's the politician and the pastor is the only ones who will have the brains to do or to say anything. And that's why we are losing, because it just can't be a group of persons with all of the answers. We have to empower our Bahamian people so that all of us, could be a really true part of developing this country and growing it. You guys have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Very interesting comments.
It is. Wow. I mean, I think we're looking at the government, yes, as the leaders, but individually, I believe everyone has a part to play. We have allowed corruption to erode our country and our societies, and that's happening because of people. Like, for example, you go to work, you get paid, but if someone walks in the door to get a grease your hand for you to do your work, I mean, that's corruption, in my opinion. I see people advertising Uber services. Uber is illegal in the Bahamas, but yet there are private plates hire for transportation. That's illegal in the Bahamas, right? Right. So, like, you know something is wrong and you purposely do it. You are a part of the problem. Driving without a license, that's illegal. But you make the decision and the choice to do it. You are part of the problem.
Yeah, and you watch what the politicians are doing, right? So they're trying to, they don't want to come out and directly say, right? They're encouraging you to be better parents,
right?
When they are in the government,
right?
And then the opposition always blames the government,
correct?
Right? But they don't want to come out and say it's me,
it's the citizenship,
us.
right?
We have
us.
to do this, right?
We have to.
We have to change our mentality.
Correct.
We have to stop this nonsense.
Correct.
Every little thing adds up.
It adds up. And then one of the things that he said that makes so much sense to me is we listen to people all the time. And I wish we would stop doing that and start watching what people do. You know, the politicians come out and they say all sorts of things, but what are they actually doing? It's in the doing that we should be making our decisions. You understand? They could say anything.
Now, see, that's tricky because people are saying that, right? They're like, they don't want to hear anything from the politicians because we know what you all do. So if you aren't doing what you're supposed to, why should we? Why should we? And there's a whole lot of people saying if they won't do what's right, then I don't watch me. And so now we're stuck in this position as well.
And it's a John Maxwell principle. Everything rides and falls on leadership. And so if your leadership corrupt, I mean, I'm just throwing it out. Like if you have people in any organization, whether that's leading countries or leading companies or whatever, whatever the leader does is what people will do because people do what they see. Simple.
My goodness. Wow. All right, let's take these calls quickly, then we'll take the break and come back to the messages. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. Hello.
Hi.
Good morning.
Hi, morning. Dwight, I think for the most part, I'm going to answer your question you asked the gentleman about what were some of the things that he thought, the Prime Minister was going to say. Because quite frankly, I felt as if the Prime Minister said a whole lot of nothing. First things first. How the PLP thought that it was okay to put the Minister of National Security as the Minister of National Security is laughable to me. An attorney who had a background in defending criminals. Okay, so you're going to put that individual as the leader of national security. Laughable to me. That was the first mistake. And then in the Prime Minister's address...
Well, the Prime Minister was also a lawyer as well. So
you understand me. And so... And then
but in the National Security Minister's defense, he did serve as a magistrate or a judge. He did that too.
I mean, it wouldn't have been. It could be a good choice because he has an inside to the criminal mind.
Right. In hindsight,
and if he uses that, right.
I think in hindsight, I think they did think that was the better choice. Mm-hmm. But we can see that was the wrong choice. You understand me? He wants to do nothing because these people are his friends. These people have paid him thousands and thousands of dollars over the years to defend him, and now you're sitting on the next side of the chair. To me, it's just a conflict of interest. Okay? And then another thing, they said in their address, I don't know if it was Fred Mitchell who said it, but somebody said from the PLP camp that the Privy Council, taking away the Privy Council is just not up for discussion. Okay? And I'm like, okay. So they say they don't want to do this thing that they know is going to curb crime. They're saying they're trying to curb it, but we know the Privy Council is something that has been causing an issue with trying to get these people prosecuted and spending their time. I just feel
I mean, they're being used as a scapegoat. If we really wanted to, we could do it. We really could, right? They just define the worst of the worst. If you say killing a child is the worst of the worst, the Privy Council has to go by your rules, right? So we if we wanted to, don't blame the Privy Council. It's all of our people right here holding up the show.
These are just some of the things. I heard nothing about reform. I heard nothing about them actually changing the laws, legislative laws, when it comes to stiffer penalties, stiffer punishment. They're saying they're going to look at it, but we know it's not going to happen. I just feel like these people are not concerned. They're not interested. I am one of those individuals. I look in my rearview mirror every time I am in my car, when I pull up in my yard. I don't go anywhere. My kids don't go anywhere. It seems to be safer to stay in your house now. You're the prisoner.
You're the prisoner.
I feel like a prisoner in my own home. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't go out. I stay inside all the time, and I'm sure that I am not the only single parent who is living like this, just trying to steer her children in the right direction. And then you be so concerned when they go out. You're calling them constantly. They feel as if they have no freedom because you're on them. This is the reality of how some of us live, and it should not be in this day and age. It should not be.
Wow. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate your contribution this morning. Wow. That's a lot there. Let's take a break. We'll be back. A whole lot more of your text messages to get to. This is a Tuesday morning here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
The government refused to develop the region and continue the marginalization and injustice, the youth to the next people coming after us, I think will be more brutal than what we have done.
Calling me a monster, calling us fake. No way, no way, no way. Calling me a monster just cause we say it.
We're from the block where it rains, where we create barricades, keep our position away. That's why we strap with the case. Don't get kidnapped from your place, cause it could happen today. Not knowing how to behave.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
I'm Rita Foley with an AP News Minute. Donald Trump is looking for a big victory in today's GOP primary in New Hampshire. But the first results are in, and all 6 registered voters in tiny Dixville Notch cast their ballots for Nikki Haley. Democrats are placing a lot of importance on the sensitive issue of abortion as the November 2024 election approaches. Today, President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris will appear at a rally in Virginia as they push for abortion rights. 20 people are known dead in China. 24 others are missing after a landslide in a remote area of China.
More than 1,000 rescuers are working amid freezing temperatures and falling snow, according to the Ministry of Emergency Management. A state news agency, citing a preliminary investigation by local experts, said the landslide was triggered by the collapse of a steep cliff-top area I'm Charles de Ledesma.
And it's time for your first look at traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean for more information. In your real-time traffic at this hour, what we're seeing right now, the usual heavy traffic on Milo Butler Highway from well south of the Fire Trail roundabout straight up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway in the northbound lanes there. Looking very busy for you this morning. Gladstone Road also seeing the same thing at the Fire Trail intersection. Heavy traffic from well south of that if you're heading northbound straight up to the roundabout with Bahamar Boulevard, JFK Drive. Some building traffic on JFK between Prospect Ridge and Bahamar Boulevard, especially eastbound towards the roundabout with Prospect Ridge, Harold Road, Tonic Williams Darling Highway, and near Theodore Lane if you're heading westbound. A bit of congestion at Six-Legged Roundabout, northbound on Milo Butler, eastbound on JFK, and some building traffic on West Bay Street near Saunders Beach as you approach the roundabout with New Providence Highway. Blue Hill Road, heavy traffic for you from Carmichael straight up to Independence Drive, especially northbound and westbound on Independence Drive. You are backed up almost to the roundabout with East Street. Again, that's westbound traffic, heavy there. East Street is busy as well from Sapodilla Boulevard straight through to that roundabout with Independence Drive. And then we've got Prince Charles Drive at the major intersections and at Elizabeth Estates, heavy traffic there. Heavy traffic at Fox Hill Road and especially on the way to Beatrice Avenue. Straight through to Robinson Road west of Soldier Road. Heavy traffic there. Soldier busy for you north of that intersection as well. And Eastern Road, heavy, slow-moving traffic on westbound lanes from San Souci to about Johnson Road. That's what we're seeing right now. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Learn more at rbc.com/Caribbean. And at 7:57, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Scotiabank and Junior Junkanoo. We've got strong high pressure that continues to produce fresh to strong winds and hazardous marine conditions across the islands. For today, for all areas, variably cloudy, warm, and breezy with a few quick passing showers possible through tonight. Small craft operators strongly urged to remain in port. And motorists along coastal roads, especially eastern coastal roads and the Glass Window Bridge in Eleuthera, advised to exercise extreme caution as there could be overtopping waves and sea spray. Temperatures today, we're looking at highs getting to around 75 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 68 Fahrenheit, 20 Celsius. Likely feel a little bit warmer than that, though. And currently in Nassau, it's about 72 degrees, partly cloudy skies. In your extended outlook, a robust high-pressure system centered north of the Bahamas will continue to produce hazardous marine conditions and swells along the islands. So, for Wednesday, tomorrow, expect a mix of sun and clouds, warm and breezy, with a stray shower or two possible. Pretty much the same for Thursday, a mix of sun and clouds, warm and breezy, with stray showers possible. That's your Morning Blend weather check. Weather check brought to you by Scotiabank and Junior Junkanoo. Scotiabank invites you to help bring big energy for Junior Junkanoo. Follow their Instagram page, Scotiabank Bahamas, as they visit participating schools to get our youngsters hyped and ready for the big parade on Thursday, January 25th. Once you log on to the page, hit the follow button and like pics of the school from the school tour. Come out and watch Junior Junkanoo. 6 p.m. to 12 this Thursday, and use Scotiabank's IG page to vote for your favorite school as they show up and show out. Feel the energy, celebrate the vibe of Junior Junkanoo. Scotiabank, the official bank of Junior Junkanoo.
And continue the marginalization and injustice, the youth, so the next people coming after us, I think will be more brutal than what we have done.
Calling me a monster, calling us fake.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on cable, Bahamas Channel 969, and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line, powered by BTC, 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. And now at 8:21, time for another check of your weather for today. Brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Here's what's happening. We have a strong high-pressure system that continues to produce fresh to strong winds and hazardous marine conditions across the country. And as a result of this, small craft operators and beachgoers are being advised to remain in port and stay out of the water. So the public is advised to travel along eastern coastal roads with extreme caution as well, due to sea spray and possible overtopping waves, especially the Glass Window Bridge in Eleuthera. So your forecast for today for all areas, variably cloudy, warm, and breezy, with a few quick passing showers possible through tonight. Small craft operators again advised to remain in port. Temperatures today getting up to the mid-70s, about 75 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. Could feel a little warmer than that, though. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 68 Fahrenheit, 20 Celsius. In your extended outlook, that high-pressure system north of the Bahamas will continue to produce hazardous marine conditions and swells along the island. So, for Wednesday into Thursday, a mix of sun and clouds, warm and breezy, with stray showers possible. That's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Sherwin-Williams Paints has got you covered for all your painting and equipment needs. Visit Sherwin-Williams Paints online or in store today. And it's time for another check of traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean for more information. In your real-time traffic, still heavy traffic on Milo Butler Highway from well south of the Fire Trail roundabout straight through to Tonic Williams Darling Highway, and heading north towards the Six-Legged roundabout. You're going to see that heavy traffic there. Six-Legged seeing issues from multiple directions, including eastbound on JFK Drive, southbound on your Providence Highway, and a bit of congestion exiting onto Thompson Boulevard, University Drive. Then we've got Gladstone Road is looking a little bit better than it did a few minutes ago, so the traffic is in spots. So not looking so bad if you're heading northbound. But The issue is on JFK Drive, so traffic is backed up along Lake Cunningham eastbound and westbound toward the roundabout with Gladstone Road and Bahamar Boulevard, especially near Theodore Lane. And then there's more congestion eastbound towards Prospect Ridge and the roundabout there. So, traffic assistance pushing the traffic onto JFK Drive at this moment. We've got Saunders Beach, West Bay Street, heavy traffic there as you approach the roundabout with New Providence Highway. And Independence Drive, still very heavy traffic, especially westbound, but it's both ways essentially at this hour, bumper to bumper, between the two roundabouts at East Street and Blue Hill Road. Blue Hill Road, very busy from Carmichael straight through to that roundabout. East Street seeing similar traffic, especially northbound, north and south of the Soldier Road intersection. Robinson Road, not moving between Soldier and Old Trail. And all of that area of Prince Charles into Robinson looking busy for you west of Beatrice. And Eastern Road, heavy traffic from San Souci to Johnson Road. So, you'll need your patience this morning. Good luck to you. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Learn more at rbc.com/Caribbean.
Struggling to repay your loan? Let us help you get back on track with payment terms that suits your financial situation and improve your credit score and credit report with the Bahamas Credit Bureau. Inquire about our restructured loans today. Call us at 356-7764.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
Whether you're looking for your first or new home or even using your existing home as equity, RBC understands that your journey to home ownership is unique and your mortgage financing should reflect that. That is why at RBC we have dedicated mortgage specialists that provide sound advice and helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. Best of all, the RBC mortgage team is mobile, flexible, and will meet you almost anywhere. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with an RBC mortgage specialist.
There's a new electric vehicle in town, the Jack brand of SUVs, trucks, sedans, and commercial vans, available only at Easy Car Sales, home of the fully electric vehicle. For a powerful, smooth ride at a fraction of the cost to drive, leave the pump behind and hit the road with Jack. Visit easy242.com to see our brand new Jack models and drop into Easy Car Sales for a test drive. It'll have you singing. Hit the road with Jack, and don't you pump gas no more.
What would you do with extra cash? Plan a trip.
Overhaul my wardrobe.
With CIBC First Caribbean, you can get comfy with savings on your mortgage costs. Buy or build your home or switch your mortgage to us and get up to US $1,000 off the loan application fee. Up to US $2,000 off home insurance. With up to US $10,000 towards switching costs, your pockets will be comfy too. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/get comfy for more information. Conditions apply.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Here's the sure-winning art store moment from Shelley and Dee Dee.
We're the only full art store in the Bahamas. If we don't have it, we make a list, and trust me, our boss can get that. If you need that, he can get that. You can find sketchbooks, acrylics, the canvases in all sizes, stencils. We have the Angelus that they use on shoes and letters. We're the only persons in Nassau that carries the Montana spray. We have the Krylon sprays, watercolor and paints, the oil, chalk paints, the alcohol paint, metallic paints, a little Floetrol, and we have cleaning products for the artists, thinning products for the artists, and Crayola colors, and glitters, pencils, the Posca markers, and pastels, oil, and the acrylic pastels, dyes. Oh yeah, we also have airbrush paint. I don't forget that part of the movie. Gift sets, hobby craft,
Oil, shrimp,
clays.
stew, shrimp gumbo. But art supplies. We have a lot of them. Sherwin-Williams Art Store. Find color in every day.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
At RBC, we know buying your new ride is a very personal experience with many decisions to make. That's why we leave the car choice to you and ask that you leave the rest to one of our RBC Auto Finance specialists, trained to provide sound advice and helpful solutions to make your dream car a reality. The RBC Auto Finance team is mobile, flexible, and will meet you almost anywhere. Visit rbc.com/lovemyride to connect with an RBC Auto Finance specialist in your area.
At Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef. It's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Different inside and out.
Oh yeah! Stand! Let's go! You do the crime, you must do the time. KB and Sting say so. Oh yeah! Let's go! Crime doesn't pay, boy. Crime doesn't pay. Don't throw your life away, boy. Crime doesn't pay. If being bad was good, boy, then why they lock away? Don't mind what your friends say, boy. Crime doesn't pay. Listen, prison only look good from the outside, but when you behave bars, boy, now that's a different vibe. The first thing you regret, boy, is the last thing that you do.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Duquesa Dean. Have a great time off here in the studio. Oh boy! All right. Coming up in a few minutes, we are expecting some guests here. We're going to be talking about Junior Junkanoo, and that's coming up. And then later in business, we're talking about customer service, just evaluating where we are today on that. Every few months, we're going to be looking at that to see if there's been any improvement. And I don't know. Anyway, but we continue to talk about the violent crime matter, murders in the country, and the reaction now. And it's increasingly getting political, right? So a lot of the opposition, the FNM says they're going to be protesting tomorrow downtown in front of Parliament. And had a lot to say yesterday. So getting your reaction to all of this. Let's take this call quickly, and then we'll get to your text messages. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning.
Hi.
Good morning. It's an interesting topic. I mean, this ain't nothing new that we've been discussing for many years now. And the unfortunate thing about it is that we don't look in the mirror as individuals. Like I heard the question say earlier, that, and people being saying it, this ain't the first time, that everybody needs to look in the mirror and ask themselves, what can I do to make this country a better place? Shall I stop breaking the laws, running the traffic lights, driving without license, driving without insurance, knowing that my family member isn't working, but they get all these material things from luxury cars to luxury fashion outfits, hairdos, nails done every day, all of those type things. And Dwayne Sands, he's an eloquent speaker. You gave him an opportunity to say what is in their plan. And he basically said nothing. He said nothing. And the thing that stuck out to me is he said the optics of the Prime Minister. See, they're interested in optics. If we need the leader of our country to be in the Bahamas 24/7 for our country to function, then that says the rest of us, we need to be here. Because he's only one person, irregardless if it's an FNM or a PLP. We have had murders under all prime ministers. All, irrespective of what they've been doing, where they are in the world, where they are in the Bahamas, we've been having murders. So they in the presence of the prime minister or whoever's the prime minister today going to change the situation. All of us as individuals, parents, it starts in the home, the parents and the guardians of children need to ensure that the kids are given proper foundations, grounding foundations, moral foundations. All of these murders that we have, if you go to the funeral services of these murder victims and see what is be going on, the families don't even get it be partying. They take it as an opportunity to party, drink rum, cuss, and carry on. So why do we keep putting all the pressure? I mean, the elected politicians, they have their job, their role to play. And people keep saying that the government, irrespective of which government it is, he's always said this, the government doesn't have a plan. Does the Guardian still send reporters out to the court to cover the courts because the police ain't locking up nobody no more?
Yes.
We always have court reports.
Okay,
Police are
it
definitely.
Tells you, so it tells you that, and the lady who said that the Minister of National Security, we had a whole Deputy Commissioner of Police was Minister of National Security, and we had murders. We still had murders. So it's up to us as individuals, unless we decide as individuals that certain things we ain't gonna do. Whoever's the government, whoever's the Prime Minister, even if I the Prime Minister or Dwight is the Prime Minister, the person still can decide within themselves if they want to kill somebody, if they want to break some law. Because when the Prime Minister home sleeping, he can't be here, there, and everywhere. The police can't be here, there, and everywhere watching people. We have to decide as individuals, look here, this is what I'm not going to do this. This is wrong. I can teach my children. This is wrong to do. This is not the proper
And do you
way to
feel
live.
we are there? Because I don't believe that the majority of our people are there yet.
No, we further away from that.
Wow.
If you the videos that they send around on these crime scenes, what is one of the major things you hear coming from off those videos? Cussing. Oh, mother, this, that, the next thing. Nobody say, okay, grab one sheet to cover up this dead body.
Help.
Nobody's do that.
And I'm always struck by
my house. I'm cover up this dead body. Let me hurry up, record this to send this round the
That's
word.
the main priority. Yep.
Yeah.
You know, because we have become individually, we have become selfish people. We don't care about one another. Just like how people is driving on the streets.
Yeah, and I'm always struck by the number of children that we just allow to stand there and watch this madness. Right?
Exactly. And adults around, and nobody say, let me take off my shirt and cover up this dead body so the kids can't see this. And then they become dehumanized. Because why? It's only just a dead body in the road.
No value.
That ain't right. That
No
ain't no
value.
human being like me. That just dead, and ain't no family member of mine, so I don't care.
Yeah.
I've been on a murder scene before where I take my shirt off and I cover up the person. I cover up the person because I've had people in my family got murdered before. And I know people who've gotten murdered under every prime minister we've had. Every prime minister. So it's up to us as individuals. The opposition is doing the opposition is do because all of them is doing when they're in opposition.
Okay.
They all have the solution to the problem as far as they concerned. But
And this is amazing because Duquesne and I were talking about this during the break. That right, so you're hearing people, as you mentioned, right? The folks are knowingly breaking the laws, or know people who do, and are calling us, calling shows, calling for the government to do more to crack down on us.
Right,
on us. Put harsher penalties on us because I can't control myself. I guess that's what it is.
Right.
And see, unfortunately, humans, for some reason, they don't like people telling them what to do, but there's one people tell them what to do.
I mean,
The
I
worst
think
thing
here
in the
it's
world
gone a little
that
bit
a human
deeper.
being hates is for another human to tell them what to do, you know. You watch little children.
This is
From
true.
they
We
small,
resisted.
You tell a child what to do because God gave all us free will. And you will see that free will coming out from a baby because God gave us that free will. That is why he placed on the parent to train up the children in the way they should go, in the proper way. Because some getting training, but they getting the wrong training.
Absolutely.
And that's our problem.
Yeah.
We need to start to train up our family members, ourselves, in the proper way, the right way. To stop being so lawless.
Yes.
Thank you so
That's our
much.
biggest problem.
Really appreciate you this morning.
I like what the caller is saying, and I want to deepen that a little bit, though, Dwight. I think because, and this is really going to sound weird, right? I think because we have removed, I think because the men and women of God have disappointed us so much, we've moved away from God. They are God's representative, and we see that they break laws or they go contrary to what the Bible says, and there are scandals and all that sort of stuff. So we move away from God. Additionally, like when you grow up in a Christian family and all you could do is go to church Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, when you have your children, you feel like you don't want to punish your children by going to church so much so they go to church less. There's no judgment here. However, if you choose to do that, it's a responsibility for us to now replace what Sunday school teaches as morals, as parents picking that up and now teaching that lesson. You don't have to go to church to learn right from wrong. You don't have to go to church to learn, okay, what is called a sin is something that's wrong against self, wrong against society, right? We can teach those lessons for those who aren't believers, right? But the further we progress, and the more each generation comes along, the further we move away from certain principles, and we get what we get today as a result.
And you have to know it in order to teach it.
Yeah, you have to know it to teach it.
And a lot of people clearly don't know.
Right.
Because
just look at it. We are sweetheart capital of the world. Like, it's like, it's so accepted. It's like, okay, well, that's just the norm. If you have a boyfriend or if you have a husband, there may be 4 or 5 other women trying to get him or he trying to get with them or whatever. It's pure morals, right? You have, in this day and age, more and more young women having babies under the age of adulthood, which again creates another problem. More often than not, they're left to raise the children on their own. They're too young. They haven't even experienced life as yet. Or you may have the woman who says, oh, you know what? I don't need a man, so I'm going to have a baby and I'm going to raise this child on my own. Then you just have some men who just worthless. I sorry to say it like that, right? So it's like there are so many different, on this spider web, there are just so many different arms to what's causing the situation. And when you have abandonment issues as a child, you begin to seek attention. That's how they get into gangs, right? And now you have to be initiated. So what do you have to do? So I don't believe, in some instances, perhaps a murderer becomes a murderer instantaneously, but I believe these are incremental steps.
Yeah.
Dishonesty, then maybe stealing and lying, and it gradually, as you get away with one thing, you do something bigger.
Yeah,
and you keep getting away with it.
So lily pad, you hop from this one to that one, and each one gets bigger and bigger, and then next thing you know,
where are the consequences and where's the correction?
Right. No. Wow. Okay. We've got a whole lot of text messages. Callers, give us a second. Let me just read a few of these because they're piling up here. And this person says here, politicians will only do something when a tourist gets murdered. Sure. And the people will only really get angry when it's a blacklisting or somebody says a travel advisory or there's an article about it by a foreign media house or something.
Of course.
And then they're like, oh,
because how dare they talk about us?
Right. They need to watch themselves. But
we need to watch ourselves.
So what does that say about us, right?
Yeah.
Only when the criticism is from the outside do we really realize we've got a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tons of people saying, hey, I ain't in no gang. So if it's a gang thing,
it ain't me.
It ain't me.
Yeah, but that don't mean, like, what is you? That's the question.
I don't think it's about this text. I don't think it's about whether it's possible for crime to be addressed when the prime minister is out of the country. I think people want to see solidarity with the leader being present in a time when his citizens are concerned about a high rate of crime that we don't usually experience. This one says here, I wish the national address on crime was as straight to the point as the Director of Communications Defense. Okay. This person says, prayer at Rawson Square nor demonstration outside the House of Assembly are out of place. These are not the places of crime. Every department is limited by political zest, extremely counterproductive. So you're saying they shouldn't do the protests there? Where do you recommend?
Yeah.
Okay. This one says here, I fail to see how the Prime Minister traveling is connected to the people who decide to kill other people. Do they want the Prime Minister to adorn himself in combat gear and patrol the streets himself? The people need to learn to govern themselves. Make this make sense. But this other person says, why is the Prime Minister traveling at a time when our country is in a murder crisis? Does he really care about this country or just loves traveling? Wow. Another text. You truly can't clean house without carrying out the trash. Execute convicted murderers.
Oh.
Well, I think we no longer have anyone on death row from the last thing I heard about that,
When
right?
was I need to find out when the last time we executed.
2000.
Oh, okay. But I mean, I don't think they even scared to die, though. I mean, you come out on bail and you know you're a target.
Well, okay, let's adjust the language. The last state-sanctioned execution was 2000.
Okay.
Official state-sanctioned.
Okay.
We've had plenty of
executions
since then.
Right.
Many.
Right.
We can't even count.
Correct.
But state-sanctioned. So the death penalty...
I mean, it exists. It's just not legal. It's not lawfully being carried out.
There's no
wow,
hangman,
that's real.
No hangman who can't,
right?
No conscience for no sleepless nights for that
for
person.
him. Yes,
So
yes.
It's just
yeah.
We're dealing with things in a different way.
Yeah,
it seems.
Yeah.
Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Are you there? I know we had you holding for a little bit. Let's take the other one there. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hi.
I agree with a lot of the sentiments that the caller a few moments back made. However, I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but the Prime Minister has ultimate responsibility for whatever goes on in this country. Whether he's indirectly or directly involved, he has ultimate responsibility because along with the perks, the privilege, and the power of being the Prime Minister, he also has the pressure of ensuring that systems work in this country, right? We have a problem in this country where we hear people complaining about the different problems. So what is being done? What is being done to address it, right? So I know a lot of people don't like to hear it, with the Prime Minister, whether he's in the country or not. There's a problem with crime. It's escalating. We can see it. Right, there's a lot of other issues like illegal immigration, like people not following this and that. We have to implement systems that work.
True.
And who is ultimately responsible for that? Right? We have to stop thinking politically and think nationally about our country and what's best for us, our children, and our future generation. Right? We have systems in this country that are outdated, not working. And that's fine. We have to evaluate, review, implement, and come up with new ways of trying to, deal with these situations. That's reality. We need our MPs in Parliament coming up with reviewing our laws. If it needs to be upgraded, hold, plug, whatever you have to do, it has to be done. And the perception has to be there so that the majority of the citizens see that, look, these people working, they're trying to help us out. But right now, I don't think a lot of people are feeling that. So the Prime Minister has ultimate responsibility. I'm sorry.
Very interesting points. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Right, and people have said that, right? Some of these laws are antiquated, but they're not being addressed. Yeah, that's a very interesting point.
Yeah.
One more call, and we're going to take a break. Good morning, you're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Dwight, to both of you. Good
Hi.
morning to the wider Bahamas. Just first, Dwight, let's do a few corrections in house cleaning. Mr. Latre Ramming, the spokesman for things, says, the F&M left the meeting. In fact, Mr. Pintard said it was not a meeting. And then he says they had no contribution, but we said we have a list of the contribution, and it's already in the plan. So it's like he had that press conference to just simply contradict each other because it was not a meeting. But let's talk about what government roles. We all know that law creates culture. But it's not just the law, it is the enforcement of the law.
Correct.
The government itself plays a crucial role in the creation, development, and nurturing of social order, which combats the rise in crime. That's through legislation and legal frameworks, the creation of laws, through strong policies and for support for law enforcement, for the police forces, a judicial system that works and functions efficient so there are timely and impartial trials. It has a step in corrections rehabilitation system, a prison system that doesn't create animals, okay, that we have a place that was determined to be a dungeon that we're still redefining by naming it something else that we think it then makes it into a rehabilitation. It has prevention through education, which is community policing, educational programs. It keys into the social support system for the social safety net, where we saw that lady and those two young kids fall through the cracks. Because they fell through education, they fell through the social services aspect, because even if she was not eligible, those two children were as part of taking into protection. Then it goes into international cooperation, technological and innovation and advancement that we have. And most importantly for the police, that we still don't have an understanding. What is the real strategic planning and implementation? And this is where it comes right back to the Minister of Crime, or is it National Security? And so where's the crime strategies and policies, not statements? You know, when you present a plan to me, you know, Dwight, you ever went to the building department and told them what you're going to do for building your house, or do you present a plan for them to look at it? They challenge you to get a contractor who can follow a strategy for building that plan. We don't have that. What we have is linguistic contortionism, and then we say it's planned. Those are not plans.
Thank
okay.
you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
A couple messages as we go to the break. This person says here, capital punishment is not a deterrent. We just need the space at the prison. Oh, my God. Well,
we need reform.
That's harsh. That's harsh. I'm on Marathon Road and a guy is riding his bike standing on the seat. Imagine that. How is that allowed to happen so freely and unrestricted on our streets?
Correct.
It seems much worse.
Okay.
Every day.
Okay.
Children.
Okay.
Little children.
Yes.
They don't look like they're teenagers yet.
Right.
12.
But Dwight, it's just like you running your house. If you have rules in your house, if you have kids and you lay down the rules, these are the things that happen in our home, and your kids don't obey your rules, and you offer no consequences, what are they going to do?
Yeah. This texter says here, good morning. Trust you both are well. Dwight, I'm not a soft jelly belly man. Most people call me ballsy. But Dwight, I will tell you, I'm very uncomfortable moving around in Nassau. I'm always worried about myself and others' safety. You and your guests, please stay safe and pay attention. These leaders are not helping at all. God bless you both.
Wow.
Well.
So we had one man and one woman call and say the same, one text and one call and say the same thing.
How do you feel?
I don't feel safe.
Yeah?
You know, it doesn't confine me to my home in any different way that I used my home before. But when I do move about, I am more conscious about the roads I drive on. And I'm a lot more conscious about when I go home, making sure no one is following me, especially at night, that sort of stuff. So, yeah, it's heightened.
Interesting.
Heightened.
We'll be back. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Room that's crowded to the max. You can get what you want, boy, no matter how you act. Few people come to visit you, but only for a while. Then they forget about you like you're going out of style. Cause crime doesn't pay, boy. Crime doesn't pay. Don't throw your life away, boy. Crime doesn't pay.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
There's a new electric vehicle in town, the Jack brand of SUVs, trucks, sedans, and commercial vans, available only at Easy Car Sales, home of the fully electric vehicle. For a powerful, smooth ride at a fraction of the cost to drive, leave the pump behind and hit the road with Jack. Visit easy242.com to see our brand new Jack models and drop into Easy Car Sales for a test drive. It'll have you singing. Hit the road with Jack, and don't you pump gas no more.
What would you do with extra cash? Plan a trip.
Over on my wardrobe.
With CIBC First Caribbean, you can get comfy with savings on your mortgage cost. Buy or build your home or switch your mortgage to us and get up to US $1,000 off the loan application fee. Up to US $2,000 off home insurance. With up to US $10,000 towards switching costs, your pockets will be comfy too. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/get comfy for more information. Conditions apply.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk. All day.
Stand! Oh yeah! Stand! Stand! Let's go! Stand! You do the crime, you must do the time. Stand! KB and Sting say so. Stand! Oh yeah! Stand! Let's go! Crime doesn't pay, boy. Crime doesn't pay. Life away, boy. Crime doesn't pay. If being bad was good, boy, then why they lock away? Your friends say, boy, crime doesn't pay. Listen, prison only look good from the outside, but when you behave bad, boy, now that's a different vibe. The first thing you regret, boy, is the last thing that you do. Then you have to worry about somebody tickling you. Come on, crime doesn't pay, boy. Crime doesn't pay. Don't throw your life away, boy. Crime doesn't pay. If being bad was good, boy, then why they lock away? Don't mind what your friends say, boy. Crime doesn't pay. You lived in a small room that's crowded to the max. You can't get what you want.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong along with Duquesa Dean. Okay, so the first week of the year after, because it was every day.
Yes.
We were talking about it. I was looking up online to see if anybody, all the big cities, had murders yet, and a couple of them many of them hadn't, all over the world. They hadn't had their first murder. We were already on 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, look around, only places in war have had this much death.
The numbers,
This is wild.
It's
for
wild.
a tiny place. 16 here on New Providence, 17. And this is not normal.
Yeah.
And something is very wrong.
You know what? I would really like to know how many of it was vigilante justice. Like how many, I know we talked about gang involvement in this one getting killed for that reason or whatever. I would really like to know how much of it.
Well, a lot of it is beef stuff, if that's the same thing, right? Because we heard a lot of those people had conflicts before and they came back and dealt with it.
Right.
So
it's not like random.
No, nothing appears to be random.
Right.
And that's one thing. And so that's the thing. That's right. The fear of crime is causing people to think a little bit irrationally. We don't have, knock on wood, random stuff.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's these people know each other.
Yeah. Wow.
They right?
Yeah. That's major.
It's conflict. The way we deal with each other.
Correct.
We are not the friendly people we used to be.
Correct.
Why that is, I don't know. People have all kinds of crazy theories, and we don't want to hear those today. But things have changed around here. And as Stephen was saying yesterday, the way we talk to each other, right? Everything is, I can kill you if you ever, right? It's always violence in what we say. I'll knock you or whatever if you ever try that again. Or even if you're joking with somebody, right? That's the way we communicate, which is just really scary.
Yeah, and even in conversation, a lot of time that people aren't open to receiving constructive information or constructive advice. There's a lot of defensiveness as if we're right all the time, but when we are wrong, it's okay to accept advice. It's okay to accept constructive criticism without flying up on a handle because someone is trying to help you make a better decision or help you take a different pathway. We should be open to being corrected. And I'm finding that we're not.
Well, that's going to take a lot of training for many people.
Yeah, but we're not open
myself.
to correction. Off air, I'm going to correct you.
Oh, boy. And I was just having a conversation off air, right? And then think about it. Just 17 murders. This is a small country, and the police force is not large. 17 murders. How are they dealing with all of this? From just processing all these crimes and crime scenes, and how many different detectives do they have on each of these matters?
Correct.
Is
it really just like one coroner still? Like one or two coroners for the
remember the coroner here is more of a magistrate, so it's a little bit different. I don't know if you mean the
like who goes to the
morgue
scene and say, okay, this person dead or whatever, or when they
well, they're very busy.
Right.
They're very busy. Everybody's
right. So
been
is it enough resources?
Thin.
Right. Correct.
And this is crazy.
Yeah. And I would also like to suggest that we need to increase the benefits and salary of the police force, Royal Defense Force, to attract more candidates and more fit candidates, right? To make sure that you have the aptitude, but not just the aptitude, the skill set to really function in the job. If you got to chase a criminal and you ain't been doing nothing since you come into training and you don't have the stamina, physically, but you know, that person gone, right? So how can we support the police force by making sure that there are suitable candidates, that the benefits are attractive, and that they have continuous development as it relates to fitness and all of that sort of, because I mean, they need support.
But think about this. So we had a texter and a caller say that they are scared, they don't go around, they don't go out much anymore. But look at the streets in New Providence. That texter who just said they saw a kid on a bike. Right. Have you seen fewer children walking around, teenagers walking around in the middle of the day and late in the evening than before? Nothing is changing in that regard. So they have parents. Their parents are fine with them coming home late and out and about by themselves or with a group of people at this hour, any hour of the day.
Correct.
So who's scared?
No
the
one.
People who, what's really happening here?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of double talk, and a lot of people are not practicing what they preach.
Correct.
And we really are going to be here for a very long time
if nothing
because
changes.
we're not being serious about this.
Yeah.
We're not. No matter what you call and say.
Yeah.
This place isn't changing.
Yeah. It's getting
17,
worse.
people just like, oh, wow.
Right.
They get all worked up, but then go back to doing the same thing.
Correct.
Get in their car after complaining about it. In the car they didn't license. In the car that has no insurance.
Correct.
Running through that, go to that place
Correct.
to meet their sweetheart. No, let's not get
No, wait, don't just say run the red light. Say come 6 cars behind, 6 or 7 cars behind on the red light to come in front of the car, the front of the red light,
to turn right.
not even left.
Not even left. So please stop. Please stop. When you're serious,
all of these small things
we'll get
add
serious.
up. Absolutely. All of these small, something as simple. And back in the day, old school parents used to tell you don't bring your work pen home because you stealing. You stealing if you take a pen from your office. Oh yeah, my Grammy was like, that don't belong to you. If that's a tool the office provides for the office workers, we stealing from the office places. We taking their reams of paper to do our job. Oh, and the other thing I want to say, we have to also stop giving parents homework because no. If you give a preschool child homework, right, to do a whole project, who you think doing the project? That's a lie in and of itself.
You think that's creating
because now you're
contributing to the crime problem?
Yes, because now your child is having the expectation that my parent is going to do my homework, right? And so parents are doing homework and submitting it. That's a lesson of morals right there. Like, come on now, when you're in preschool, you don't need that for socialization. What you talking about project? Who can do it?
Very interesting. Okay, never thought about that one, but you might be onto something because mom and dad will be doing whatever I need them to do.
And straight up to grade 6, 9.
Perpetrating,
correct.
right?
Like I did.
Perpetuating that lie.
Correct. So what does that tell the child?
Mm-hmm.
And what do they grow up doing? Then they go on somebody's job and don't do nothing.
That's deep. That's very deep. Let's take these calls quickly. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Strong. Good morning to the Aggressor.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, Dwight, as my observations in the inner city, right? You said the whole chronology really and truly, because the thing is, we look at the other countries, first world, whatever, right? So contributing to the linguistic of a minor, right? And then we look at the single parent at home, and the onus is on the single mother to do this and do that. And then so if you don't have the family structure around you, the aunt or the cousin or the uncle around. So I've seen children in primary school out on the road on bicycles like 11, 12, whatever time. But this is the freedom that they have. So this encourages incorrigibility, and so this is where we are, Dwight. So until people are made held accountable, so I listened to Dwight the other day on Howard's show, I think, and so Dwight was correct, but he's saying you can't blame the government, but it stops at the government because here's where common sense disappears. You have to have social safety network mechanisms in place in case the parents fail. You see what I'm saying, Dwight? So what are you talking about? You understand? We don't think, what you mean, everything stops at them. So lack of enforcement equals endorsement. Simple. I don't know why. And you know something, Dwight? If I tell you something, Mr. Cresser and Dwight, if I tell you something, you might believe it, I've listened to all of the calls and all of the texts, and within those, everybody shared the answer to crime, It's just that we don't really listen to one another.
Yeah.
So until you sit down in a private meeting and discuss it, they'll be surprised to know. Firstly, you can need people who were criminals and the crime fighters. This is why the guys keep people running circles. And there's a lot of things that the government could put in place. Simply, even let's say we're talking roadblocks, just to make sure people move around safe in their daily lives, right? Those roadblocks could be in the day and night, and they could be a fixture, but they just don't see it that way because, like the Crest is saying, physical capabilities or incapabilities. We see. Let's have a good day, man. Bless up. All these conversations are meaningless unless you really want to be truthful about what you're saying and sincere.
Correct.
Bless up.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. Let's get this other call in. Good morning. You're on the air. Are you there? Good morning. No, let's take that one really quick. Good morning. You're on the air. Okay. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Okay. Let's take this call. Good morning. You're on the air. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi.
I'm here, Dwight. Good morning. How you doing?
Morning.
Good morning to yourself. And Duquesa, I think the name is.
Yes, Duquesa, yeah.
Okay, great. Good morning to the nation. I'm listening to the various conversations, callers and texters and etc. And it's a lot of blame shifting taking place, Dwight. And the blame shifting is not a solution. At the end of the day, no matter how much sense is being made in the communication, there's a lot of blame shifting. As a matter of fact, it disappoints me when I listen to opposition, right? And all the blame shifting that's taking place from the top of the political leadership in the country. We have a crisis that's ongoing in the country where clearly criminally minded individuals at will, and that at will being a very key word, can do what they want to do, and we have that impacting citizens in our daily lives, right? And rather than seeing the government and the opposition work together, come together, we are seeing this division even at the very top as the government seeks to fight crime, which is counterproductive, right? And it makes absolutely very little sense. But this grandstanding that is taking place at the political level makes absolutely no sense, right? I want to highlight what Casey William Monroe was doing with and identifying what has to happen even from the legislative perspective, because at the end of the day, and we've discussed this on your show already, Dwight, on many times over the years, as crime spikes and Bahamians seem to be more keen or interested in discussing crime at the times when it spikes to such high levels, or when we have such experiences that we have never had before, rather than it being consistent. You can't just go and implement measures just because at the end of the day, we have learned minds at the judiciary level that will act in accordance with the highest law in our land, which is the judiciary. And so we need sensible approaches to deal with the ongoing onslaught of crime, to deal with discouraging persons who are involved in the life of crime, to deal with preventative measures to prevent persons from getting involved, to protect the little darlings who are being recruited, and effective means to be able to address the leadership pyramid in the crime fight. On the negative side in our country, the leaders, and they don't necessarily have to be gangs, just the leaders in the various outfits that are involved in the crime racket in our country. And then, just as important or even more important, we need the opposition to be seen to not be grandstanding, but to be working with the government on solutions for the Bahamian people, because at the end of the day, it is about the Bahamian people, protection of lives, and causing us to work together. The question, before I go, you said something a little earlier that I thought should be highlighted a little further, where you said that we need better paying salaries to attract. But what you didn't highlight is we need better paying salaries to maintain, and not just attract.
Yes.
Because the job has to take place on a daily basis, whether we have the brightest of minds, whether we have the most effective persons in technology on the police force, whether we have the most objective mindset, the persons who are currently there is carrying the weight.
Yes.
There's still lives being placed at risk, right? In the fight every day against crime. There's still a high risk of getting injured when you go on the job, et cetera, et cetera. And so we need compensation commensurate with that level of risk and that level of responsibility. And we need, clearly we need a shaking up as it relates to what's going on there, but that's another consideration.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. So, I mean, grandstanding, but the problem is that this is always the case, right?
Yeah.
Whenever any group is in the opposition,
Yeah.
they do this, and then when they get in, when the new opposition does it, they
switch.
say, hey, why are you grandstanding? But you all did that too.
They
So
just
that's the
switch it.
thing.
Yeah.
And so everyone's tired of all of it.
Yeah.
But again,
Yeah.
yes, we need everyone to do what they're supposed to do, as in obey the laws.
Correct.
And enforce the laws.
Correct.
And that is the challenge. And
Yeah.
so when we have these spikes, the police force get aggressive, but then when things get
go right
slow,
back,
then we go
right.
back to the
Right.
nonchalance.
Right.
And
Correct.
the people are just like trying to find new ways to dodge the police.
Correct.
Like, with this stuff.
So we need proactive measures as well as urgent measures like long-term sustainability of.
And we've got to reprogram our people.
Yeah, we do.
We have a lot of work to do with that, and that's
Yeah.
going to take a long time. We
Yes.
talked about some of that yesterday, but we need to really get deep and down and dirty with this and try to get our folks to change their ways, because this is a way of life here. All of this, not doing what you're supposed to do, is the number one pastime of the Bahamian people, it seems. And
Boy.
that is, we're going to ruin this place. It's going to be finished if we continue with that.
I agree with you, Dwight.
All right, we're going to take a break. And a lot of these same issues are going to come up in our next, after the break, when we talk about customer service.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, my goodness gracious. Stay tuned for that, folks. We want to hear your stories as well. This is Morning Blend. Stay tuned for business in just a break.
Let's go. Check this out. Parents, please hear me. Listen what I say. Get down on your children. Don't let them go astray. Don't let them out all hours and do. Cause when they get in trouble, that all reflects on you. Cause crime doesn't pay, boy. Crime doesn't pay. Listen, don't throw your life away, boy. Crime doesn't pay.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Dwight Strachan along with Duquesa Dean. Before we get into our topic today, just want to remind you, we're going to start doing this now and every day to remind you that, hey, 242 Day was not just a one-off thing for the 50th anniversary of independence. We want that to be an everyday event. And we're almost a month away from 242 Day 2024. A lot of 2-4s in this one coming up. So get ready, get your ideas together on how we're going to celebrate this very uniquely Bahamian day. It falls on a Saturday this year, so that's going to mean all kinds of extra special things you might be able to do.
I'd love some cultural celebration.
Hey, man, so let's get the ideas going. 242 Day 2024.
Yeah.
February, the second
Yeah.
month of the year. And the 24th day,
Yeah.
the 24th
Oh,
day
yeah.
of the second month,
Yeah.
242 days.
Yes.
Right. So let's get to it, right? All right. So this morning in business, we are talking about customer service. It is one of the major issues always affecting the Bahamas, in addition to what we were talking about earlier. We talked about this last year with you, Duquesa, and you talk to a lot of people about business and life coach and all that stuff. But last year when we did the discussion, it seemed that the pandemic might have had an impact on how we interact with each other after a couple of years of masks and being behind shields and all these things. That perhaps we've lost even more of our interpersonal skills.
Yeah.
How are we looking now? I've had some shocking experiences in the last few months, and it just don't seem to care.
No, they
don't. They will interact with you in any way, shape, or form as if you all either they just don't see you as a human, or they've known you for 200 years, and so I could do whatever and whatever.
So let me say this first and foremost, right? As a business owner, it's your vision, right? So as a business owner, you have to set the pulse for what service should look like in your organization. Because recognize that every employee that you hire comes from a different background. And they learn different things in those different backgrounds. You have different nationalities, you have different religious beliefs, you have different value systems. And so there are a lot of different beliefs coming in the door when you hire your employees. And so if you leave it to them to decide how your customers should be served, there's going to be a lot of inconsistencies in what your customers receive, and what they will receive will be in direct proportion to what that employee's home culture is. So in order to circumvent that, as an organization, that you reinforce to your employees what your standards are. What do you want your employees to do? But then you have to take it a bit further, because having a policy without enforcing it is much like having the law and not enforcing it.
Wow.
So if you have a policy...
Well, at least we're consistent with that.
Yeah, right? If you have a policy that says you want your employees to greet your customers by name, if they're busy with another employee, give eye contact and nod just so the customer is acknowledged. Like whatever it is, you have to be in your business to monitor and coach your employees on those standards. Otherwise, anything goes.
Yeah. Wow.
Anything goes.
Yeah.
Right?
From your experience, how many employers get that and do this?
I am going to say minimal of them. Minimum of them do it, and then minimum of them see the value in either doing it or hiring somebody to help them do it. Right. Now, the other day, I did some work with a restaurant, and the owner called me 2 days later to say, oh, well, half of my staff is leaving. They submitted their resignations. They're leaving. And I just paid for this customer service training. And I'm like, okay, I understand that. However, you don't have to lose the training, because you have a tool and a resource to help you build your customer service huddles. So the resource is a continuous learning that you're able to implement even when your new employees come in. So yes, you invest in employees and they leave, but you could not invest in them and they turn your customers off. Social media, word of mouth will destroy your business very, very quickly.
Right.
So what do you want your customers saying? I'll tell you this, Dwight. I will drive a longer distance to a business that I know will give me consistently good service than to just go to someplace next door to get irritated and agitated.
Unless the food is really good.
And even if the food is
yeah?
good, seriously.
I mean, I've tolerated a lot of nonsense because the food
I'm
was good.
And that's a part of the issue, my friend. I'm so
you
sorry.
gotta stop doing that.
Yes. And then as customers, we also have to let our voices be heard. Like the other day, I was placing an order. I only eat from maybe two places here in Nassau, right? And so I'm giving my order at the cash register. I'm not having a huge conversation with the cashier that's cashing me up.
Oh, I thought that was a standard practice for all businesses in the Bahamas.
Well, it apparently is.
They always do that.
And so I
have inappropriate conversations in front of me.
Right in front of the customer.
While the cashier cannot focus on
Correct.
them.
Right. And then I said to the cashier that wasn't serving me, excuse me, she's trying to serve a customer, can that conversation wait? Now she is irritated because I corrected her, but that's you should never do that. Now I will tell you that is in a business where I see the owner all the time. And he has expressed frustration that he is hiring people and he has to police them so much to get them to do what they want to do. So that comes back again to skill set.
Yeah.
Right? How are we teaching the skills? And you know what they are, Dwight? Pure hospitality. What are you learning at home? How to treat people, right? How do you treat other people? How do you be kind? How do you listen? Right?
This is more related to the crime situation and the topic that we had earlier than people want to admit.
Correct.
It really is. You get a really good snapshot of how we are.
Absolutely.
By looking at customer service and how we...
One of the scenarios that we play out is if a customer comes in the door angry, right? The typical Bahamian is going to say something like, oh, well, they meet their match today. They come in here angry, I can fix them, right? But a customer service representative who is skilled at what they do will know that that person is coming in with an issue and it has nothing to do with them. How do I now de-escalate this customer, right?
I've actually met a few of those who were spectacular at getting me to calm down.
Yes.
And I'm like...
Takes a special skill.
You're good. You're good. But
and it's caring for other people. It's coming outside of you and caring for someone else.
But that definitely is rare around here. People
is.
will want to fight.
Correct.
And want to argue with you.
Because you can't make
carry
them
on.
look small.
Yeah.
But you're in a position to serve this customer. And what I think employees don't get is that the customer is the paycheck. Without the customer, the business doesn't have the money.
Yeah.
So you want to keep this customer, because if you don't keep this customer, your livelihood is at stake. Your children's school fees, their grocery, your food, your grocery, your phone bills, all of your bills, they are at stake. They are rude customers, yes, but there is a way that we handle those rude customers.
And there are some very silly, misinformed customers as well.
Absolutely, as well.
And I'm sure they do cause frustration for customer service providers.
Correct.
But as you say, the training needs to be there for you to understand how to deal with that person.
And then, Dwight, there are actually some businesses, and I should be embarrassed, but I'm not. There are some businesses that work on inconveniencing their customers. And I'm going to say this very blatantly. You should never have to go in a banking institution and wait an hour and a half on the line. Yes, you don't want the customers to come inside, but it doesn't mean that you should devalue the customer's time, right? And so there are some businesses that there's just no priority in serving the customer. I want to frustrate you in any event to get you to use our digital platforms, right? That was a very real example. And I spoke out in a bank very vocally, hey, I'm here. My time is valuable too. So how do we make this a win-win situation? Because it's not just all about a business, it's also about the customer. And that's for every business.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So we're going to get to the callers and the text messages in just a bit. Want to hear your stories, your frustrations. But I'm having a real problem. When you call into a business and you're transferred 5 times or cut off, or they get your number and promise to call you back, but they don't.
Yeah.
And days go by and you have to tell the story all over again as to what's happening. There's one, I'm going to have to go to their regulator because there's one business I deal with who something has to be done. Something has to be done. But yeah, I've left numbers and nobody ever calls back.
And that's so
cares.
frustrating.
And it's hard to get anyone, a human, on the phone.
Wow.
And the wait time is forever. What are we doing? And what do you do as a customer in a situation like that?
Is it a place that you can actually visit? Well, if I was in your situation, Dwight, if I can't get any resolved by phone calls, right? Do you have email addresses for supervisors or managers that you can reach out to state that this is what's happening and that you really do need a response to your situation?
But why do I have to do that?
You shouldn't have to. That's the next level of escalation. If you're not able to, I'm going to have to say, I'm trying to get through to your call center. No one is answering, or if someone is answering, I'm being passed along and repeating my story X amount. If a business cares, they're going to look to the root cause of that to see what's happening, right? There are times when some of the call centers, if they're local, are overwhelmed by the amount of calls that are coming in. And sometimes businesses have unrealistic expectations of how, like if you call in, they want that phone answered 3 calls in, but you have 10 calls coming in, so they don't even have time to be on the phone to serve the customer because there's a clock now on how long they're on the phone with a particular customer. So they have all these time policies and all that sort of stuff that, yes, you want to get to your customers quickly. However, you want to give quality of service with that customer. So if we say we're going to call a customer back, then let's call the customer back. When we break trust with the customer, it's just like breaking trust in a relationship. It's hard to rebuild. So if you break a customer's trust, then they're going to second guess coming to your establishment or using you again, or they'll only use you if there's no other option.
Right. Okay. And do you agree that we have gotten worse since the pandemic? Do you think that is the case?
I think that we've removed our focus from the delivery of really good customer service to kind of like recovering what we may have lost during that 3-year period. So it's more about, okay, I need to make the money.
Yeah.
It may have put me in a financial situation to still carry the business while the business was closed. And so it could be that, okay, I need the profits more than I need a satisfied customer, which is really like contradictory because a satisfied customer will refer other customers to you and will come back again and again and again.
Yeah.
And so there's another thing that I want to share with those who own businesses when it comes to customer loyalty, because what I find is that when you go into an establishment, if you're a regular customer there and they know you, they'll greet you and they'll call you to serve you while someone else has been in there sitting for a couple of minutes or before that person, and they're doing that to say, oh, this is our loyal customer or our regular customer. You don't know the value of that new customer sitting in your on your line or waiting to be served. So never ever estimate how much that customer may spend because you know another customer has been coming in every day. That new relationship could yield more. So I encourage businesses to create loyalty programs versus face recognition loyalty that gives better service.
Yeah.
Because you can turn off a customer that can give more value to you in the long run than that face that you know coming in every week.
Wow. All right, let's hear from you folks. Let's get your stories in here. And maybe you are a business and you have some issues with your staff. Maybe you're trying, but they don't seem to want to get with the program. Let's hear all the sides to this story. And we're asking the same question we did in our previous hour, right, about the crime situation.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? And this one, we've been talking about this since I was a baby. Long before that, I guess. Right? 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Toll free 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook 24796. Let's go to the calls. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Good morning, Dwight and Duquesa.
Good morning.
I didn't get your guest name.
Oh, no, that's Duquesa. Duquesa is an expert in this field, so she's the special guest, too. Yes.
Okay, great. Morning. Listen, Dwight, there's a place, and Duquesa, sorry. There's a place in London called Leicester Square, which is an area near the Strand, where they have all of the movie theaters and also the Broadway shows. There was a fast food restaurant that I frequent whenever I go to the movies or the theaters. The reason, because of two ways. Okay, whenever you go there, they would always say, next in line for service, please, or next in line, please. And at the end of the service time, they will say, thank you for coming. You know, in Nassau, you have all these lines where continuously go to. You spend half an hour or longer. And each time, only thing you keep hearing is next. Never next, please, or, or next in line, please. As though people do, as though, you have to come to that business. There's no regard for your time, even though you may spend half an hour there during your lunch break, They pretend as though you have to come there and you must spend your money there. There's also some places where you line up, they take a long time even just to take your money from you, And they never said, well, thank you for waiting or, thank you for coming,
Yes.
So, same as though we are sure that these are polite words in the Bahamas as thank you and please, because when a customer spends a long time online, those two words goes a long way.
Absolutely.
So the weight actually feels less. So maybe when these customer service people are training, those two words that they need to instill in those employers or employees, because employers must know that you don't have to come to their business. And like Duquesa say, you are be paying their bills. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
Even with customer service, Dwight, I wish business owners would understand the very close to culture, business culture, and customer service.
Yes.
They are so interconnected. So if you have a vibrant culture that is people focused and customer focused, your customer service levels are going to be higher.
Right.
But if you have a culture that is oppressive and depressive, where people are talking themselves into coming to work, your customer service levels will definitely drop. Yeah. Culture is so connected to customer service. They work hand in hand.
Yeah. It just seems like a lot of people don't care. They just don't care.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if to say they don't care. I would like to say that they don't know. I would like to say that a lot of employees, like customers, a lot of the customer service roles are entry level roles. Students are just coming out of school. This may be their first jobs. And they have not really been trained in hospitality, which is every customer service role is a hospitality role. So I think in some instances is that they're young and they don't have the experience. They're being thrown into the water to either sink or swim. Pools. And so they don't know. And then there are some people that know, but they're so disgruntled about life generally, where they work, and all these customers coming in and the mindset that they don't care. So I think it's a mix and not just, they don't care.
Wow.
So I think it's a mix.
All right, getting some great text messages. We'll get to those in a bit. Let's take some more calls, though. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, DeClesta.
Morning.
Customer service is my thing. I love when I go somewhere and get a good customer service. One of the things that annoys me at some of the establishments I go into is when you go into a store and you're standing there looking for what you're looking for but can't seem to locate it. And the staff just stare at you or walk by you and say nothing. And if you try to get someone's attention, they always seem to put on, I like to read people's body language and their facial expression. That turns me off a lot because that's a big thing in customers. Even over the phone, if I call a company over the phone, I can tell whether the person is smiling because you can tell by the tone of voice. It's for me, when I was in the fast food for a few years, that was a big thing for me. I don't like to see people standing around. So I would go behind the counter to the line and I say, could you give us a moment? This is the hold up, or can you give us 1 minute, please? We'll get you in a minute. I love doing things like that because I know what I like to get. I like to give what I like to get. And that's something too with customer service. You only can give as good as you can get. If you like getting, most definitely give good service. And a lot of time persons take job because it's what's available.
Yeah.
It's not what they want, but it's what's available. And that too has caused a lot of employees to be disgruntled because it's not what they want.
That's true.
Mind you, they don't get the education to get what they want. They don't have that level of education. However, they still refuse to be satisfied with what they get. I like to tell you, be satisfied with what you get, and then God will bless you with what you want. You know what I mean? That would help you to grow. But you have some people, I'm sad to say, but I've seen some persons in customer service is untrainable because they just refuse to learn because they don't want to do it.
Wow.
Untrainable.
Yes, I've dealt with a person that I felt was untrainable because.
Well, how long did they last? Were they let go? Were they told they'd be better suited? I don't know where, but
but
what
that
happened?
was some of the things I told them. I said, let me tell you something. I said, if this is not what you like to do, I said, do you know if you do this to the best of your ability, when you find what it is that you like to do, you will do it exceptionally well. Because you see, it's hard to do something you don't like, but if you make that effort, you will see how easy it would come to do what it is you like to do. I don't know if you noticed that, DeClesta.
Yes. When you love what you do, it's much easier. Yes.
Even if you're doing something you don't like and you put that effort into learning how to do it well, I can guarantee you when you get where you want to be, you will be exceptional in it.
Yeah. See, the thing is, Dwight,
Thanks so much.
just like how crime is have all these multifaceted ways and things that contributed, so does customer service. Let's just look at our employee pool. When you look at the employee pool, There's a certain skill set that's required to be a customer service professional, and not everybody has that. But when you're in a crunch and you need to hire people, you may just hire bodies to put or fill those positions,
Right.
and they may be better suited back of house versus front of house, because not everyone is gifted to deal with customers. So there are some employees that really should be in support roles, and there are some employees that you want in your customer's face. So that's one thing, the employment issue. And having employees who are skilled and knowing the difference and where to place them, front of house or back of house. And then secondly, we just have to be real. People coming into entry-level positions, and they will make $700 a week. That's not realistic, right? If an entry-level customer service role, more often than not, is a minimum wage role. So you're disgruntled that you're making X dollars. What I encourage employees to do is to level up their skill set and recognize that you're in a meantime situation. And what is a meantime situation? I'm going to be in this situation. I'm going to build my skills, and it's going to help me elevate to my next level. The opposite of that is to be disgruntled and get into victimhood. They ain't paying me enough. I ain't going to do this. I ain't going to do that. And then you just stay in an entry level position for the majority of your life because you're not leveling up your skills. Each experience you can build on to elevate your skill set and elevate your career and move through organizations that way. So we have the talent pool, we have the payment and benefits pool. All of those impact customer service as well as culture.
Wow. Okay. Let's take some more calls, and you can text us 422-4796 and tweet us as well. Let's go to the call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi, good morning.
And good morning to your guest.
Good morning.
Yeah, I want to touch on what you was talking about with the call center. Yeah, man, 'cause I had a problem with my Scotia debit card, right? And I called the number, right? The number answer in Jamaica. In Jamaica, when I give them the gentleman name who I trying to reach to the Brown Soldier Road, they didn't even know the gentleman. They tell me spell the gentleman name and spell the gentleman last name. And when I spell it, then they say, Mutri, you pronouncing it wrong. And then they tell me they can let him call me back. Never call back. Just the same thing with BTC. I had a problem with my flow. I called BTC. They tell me, say, okay, the problem is on the lamp pole. They say they need to send a technician. So when the lady asked me the direction, everybody know where Porky's gas station is. She said she ain't know where that is. She said she never been to Nassau. I said, well, where? She said she in Freeport. I said, well, what this is? I said, this must be this artificial intelligence, what they talking about. He said, this must be good. I trying to understand what that was all about. But I agree with you, boy. And about the call centers, but they joking, man. All these people around here looking for jobs, you can have someone to answer the phone. And to your guess, I agree with her too, boy, because some of these businesses, what I say, when you walk in these business and if they on the phone or they dealing in the file or something, you stand up right in the front of the corner and they even acknowledge you. They even say, hey, good morning, sir, good afternoon, sir. You give me a minute and I'm going to deal with this. Right there, I can deal with you right now. No, you be standing up there for, within 5 minutes, 10 minutes, they be all behind the counter, looking in the file, going in the computer, going, talking to the boss. Then 10 minutes they come to you, with this fake smile. Hey, what can I do?
You're lucky you got a smile. You're lucky you got a smile. Things are bad. Things are bad. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right. Yes, sir.
We're trying not to call the names. But hey, maybe they need to know. This person says here, I thought I was the only one that got annoyed at coworkers chatting while one was already serving a customer. No, it's very frustrating.
And it's common.
It's not even about business. It's about, don't forget that we're not adding that anymore. It's about, child, you won't believe it. Wait, what? What are you doing?
Personal or random conversations that have nothing to do with the actual business.
Boy.
I'm telling you, the things I've heard. I don't know if I told you about that time I went into a store and there were some young boys working in the store and they were having this conversation in customer air and they were using obscene language.
That's all we know around here.
And I went over and I'm like, hey, your customers in the area, customers really don't want to hear the big F words and all this sort of stuff. Your boy tell me I ain't daddy. All right.
What?
I'm telling you. And I'm a woman and he's like, you're my daddy. Right? So I
And
went.
he works there?
He worked there.
Oh, my God.
I went to the store manager. I reported it. Store manager go and stock the shelves. Like I didn't say anything to him.
Oh, wow.
I
feel like you should name this.
No, I'm not going to name this, but it bothered me so much that I called their head office and I said, hey, listen, I'm a patron of your location and I go there every 2 weeks and I spend X amount of money. This happened. I reported to the manager. The manager did nothing. I figured the manager would go and address the employees at that time.
Right.
They actually had to have the cameras reviewed.
What?
To see the interaction.
So
they
they
couldn't
didn't
hear.
take your
but
word
they
for
could
it?
see me. No, because the original manager didn't address it. So when I reported it to the head office, this is a grocery store, they replayed their video. When I went back, another manager was in place. They switched out that one and he apologized. He said they dealt with the situation and that's all a customer needs, because I had made the decision that, you know what, I'm not going to go back to this place because this is ridiculous to have young people congregating, cussing and carrying on in customer airpoint. You bring it to the employer's manager to deal with the situation and they do nothing.
Yeah. I think this came up the last time we had this discussion. The cashiers and the packing boys at some of these stores, the conversations, I guess they're closer in age than they used to be. I remember it used to be a bunch of older women.
Yeah, they're
but
closer
now
in
they're all
age.
like
Yeah.
12 years old.
Yeah.
The cashiers and the packing boys.
Yeah.
And the conversations are
Horrible.
ridiculous.
Horrible.
Like,
Yeah.
I'd be embarrassed on a playground
Yeah.
to be hearing this kind of, like, what is happening?
But I don't
in
think
front of
anybody is
me?
really teaching them, right? I don't think that they're being taught. When I went into the grocery store the other day, boy and girl, they flirting around.
Yeah.
I could tell your girlfriend this. And I'm like, hey, I'm a customer. I'm not interested in that.
insanity.
Like, can you guys wait until there are no customers to have this type of banter? But I don't think it's being taught. I for granted that people should know. They don't know.
My goodness. Okay, let's take this call and then we want to read these messages. Good morning. You're on the air. Hi, good morning. Are you there? Yes? No? Hello? Okay, let's take the other call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Hi.
Morning.
All right, so government employees, I got a problem with how the police approach. They are my employees, right?
Sorry?
We're listening to you. Go on.
The police, they are your employees, right?
Sure. Okay. Uh-huh.
Well, they need to work on their approach to some people sometime. But I'll see how it does. But I usually, my real thing is when I go to the gas station and I have to wait 10 minutes for service, I just leave.
That's a loss.
I'm not waiting around for you. I tell them I'm going to another gas station.
Yeah. Do you think we're ready?
Sometimes
Do
you
you
gotta
think-
just take your service to another place
That's
if you
true.
feel like you're not getting treated well.
That's how you hold your power.
I hear you. Get up and go to the pay for myself and pump myself. I don't.
No, why I have to get up though? You're providing that service. I came to you for that service.
Yeah.
I guess.
So if you don't want to give me that service, I give me $5 gas and I go to another gas station.
I understand.
Thank
Thank you so much.
you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Oh boy. Okay, so more of your text messages. Read that message I just sent you. Oh boy, the irony of it all. This person says here, the waiting outside on a line for banking needs to stop. This is degrading to people. The only businesses doing this right now are the banks still. This needs to have been stopped since 2022. That's still happening, the long lines outside the banks?
Yeah, so yes.
boy,
some of
that's
some
very
of the
sad.
banks, some of the banks. I think they may be waiting for a statement from. That's what I assume. They must be waiting for someone to say, "Hey, it's okay to let your your customers, queue up inside once again."
Well, yeah, I guess they don't want that very long line.
But out
or rainy,
shade,
or,
right?
yeah,
Just
or cold, or whatever.
yeah.
It's a lot of everything.
Yeah. And then too, like some customers really can make use of digital platforms when you can. Like, some of us that day when I was in the bank, I could not make use of a digital platform because they don't have an avenue digitally for what I wanted to do. But there are some people that still make use of the lines when digital options are available.
Okay, this person says here, we focus a lot on the front line when it is mostly a tier problem. Businesses are doing a lot of cost-saving measures that's stressing on their customer services, putting stress on them, I guess.
That's true.
Okay. This one says here, you may think that you have experienced poor customer service, but wait until you get old. People make you feel like you no longer belong here, and dying is what they are willing to help you with.
Oh,
boy.
wow.
Oh, boy.
Oh, that's somber. That's really somber. I love the organizations that have senior citizens areas. You know, you, when you're a senior citizen, you may not be able to stand as long, or there may be other things that and it's a level of respect. You know, that's really, really great.
Yeah. Okay, let's see if we get some more calls in. This person says here, speak to the public service. For 3 days, I've been waiting to file VAT with no luck. Phone rings, you go on a queue, and it hangs up. You go there, and the line is out the door. They have a new system that's not working properly, difficult to sign on. When I get in, I have hit the submit button 100 times. Nothing happens.
Wow.
Let's start with getting good customer service from the public service, and they can set an example for businesses in the nation.
I wonder if they did a video of how to navigate the new system, because with the exam they did a video to show you how to use it. I wonder if they would do a video and put it on YouTube or something like that to help people understand how to use it, because trying to figure it on your own could be frustrating.
Yeah. I have an issue. What? Okay, let me go back. Behemoths need to stop complaining online and speak to the managers or directors of these worthless staff they have working for them.
Oh, you think they don't know?
But it seems most people do not like to do that. Those who don't report bad staff are the issue too. Then they say, I have an issue with women and their lace fronts messing up my orders and not apologizing. It's like women don't apologize anymore. Okay, so they were making sense at first, and then something just happened.
Right.
And
They went off on a
rails.
tangent. Yeah, they just went off. I'm glad he brought that up.
Medication just expired on them, I guess.
I have a real issue with fast food workers talking over your food while they making it. Like, I'm sure they cover that in their health class, right? So either put the mask back on or be quiet. Like, if you go in a fast food restaurant, they joking, jolting, laughing, and preparing your food. All their spit going in your food.
Spreading their DNA all over the place.
Yeah, no, man, that's not good service.
Well, we're all one family. And yes, all aspects of, call centers are part of the customer service chain, so you said it right. If a company does not address waiting time online or inefficient call centers, that means they don't care or don't understand customer service. And yes, all aspects of frustrating acts could contribute to pushing people over the line to crime, be it a slow $20 or killing. The purpose of a business, that's not what I meant, but I was saying that the same attitudes
right, are present
in the work of care for other people, and the nonchalant attitudes are similar to what we're seeing with crime.
Correct.
I'm not going to care. I'm looking this way.
Because it's what our culture is.
I didn't say that.
It's what our culture is. We are the people.
That's a sign of the culture being a problem.
Yes.
If because you got poor customer service, you decide to commit a crime.
No.
That's not what we're saying. And if you like that, then something's very wrong, and you're proving my point. But anyway, good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi. Good morning. Are you there? No. Okay. Let's take the other call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. How you doing, Dwight?
Doing well.
Good morning.
And Lucretia, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
This brother Doug here.
Hey, brother Doug.
Okay, good. Listen, when you go in the stores or wherever you go, the bank, and the line is long, and if a supervisor could come out and say, I'm sorry for the delay, we are short-staffed, some of our members are sick, come and say something like that.
Yes.
That will help a lot and relieve a lot of pressure on you. Come out and say something, but nobody comes out to say anything.
Right.
Then another thing, you talking about service. That's why me personally, I hardly buy anything from the workers. Many of these places selling conch salad and things like that, no gloves. No gloves whatsoever. Some restaurants you go to, the chef or whoever's doing the food or the waiter out front serving from no hairnet on or anything like that. And like you said, they're talking over your food. going. That is crazy.
It's all the special seasonings, all these things.
No, spit is not special seasoning.
But where all the training is starting, like you said, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am.
Yes.
It is. Let me tell you, I know the Gresham mom. I used to go around there, Eddie and all of them.
Yes.
She was like a mother to me, although my mother's living, but she was like a mother. You couldn't carry on bad and answer nobody out of tune or anything like this. And I know a lady down in Bimini, after I left the force, I went down and to hail this person on the walking going to school, and the person shake their head. She said, "Hey, hold on, excuse me, only Billy Goat to shake their head." Because Billy Goat always got the head going.
Right.
I don't know, ma'am. Yes, sir. And that is taught from home.
You teach
years
respect.
ago,
Yes.
that was modded, and you didn't have to really teach no one. When you look at all the taxi drivers and who was waiters, they were taught from home. But now this crew coming up, oh boy.
Well, they're learning from the crew before too. Though.
They're learning from
It's
pictures
been a long
too.
time.
They're learning
Yeah.
from movies
Thanks a lot.
and
Thanks a lot.
they're learning from movies and.
But that's what the all the training groups around here say. The training agency says that they have to focus on the soft skills before
Yes,
they get
it's
to
the soft
teach you
skills.
about how to
Correct.
do your job.
Correct.
Right?
It's the
Because
soft
the folks
skills.
are coming in with
Nothing.
no
Nothing.
interpersonal skills at all.
None at all.
So we're starting from scratch.
Yeah.
Very sad.
Yeah.
Let's take this call and then more of your messages. Good morning. You're on the air. We have an issue with that line. That line seems to be something
probably.
going on there. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I will implore that the largest employer of the Bahamas call in all of their employees and give them some training.
You're talking about the
Every
government?
last one.
The government of the Bahamas?
I'm sorry?
You're talking about the government of the Bahamas.
That's a big one.
Why is it that every time you go to a government agency, it seems as if you have to put up a defense because you got to battle with the attitude, the inconsistency, those that need to be retrained? How is it that you both work for the same entity, but I can get 3 different answers? And then you have attitude. And they make it seem as if they doing you a favor.
Okay.
Yeah, this
Very
is true.
serious.
This
Very
is
serious.
true.
Thanks a
That's
lot.
a big one to tackle. That's a big one to tackle. That's why many years ago I worked at a hotel, and one of the new CEOs came in and decided that, or COOs, they wanted to implement something called a daily huddle, which was designed to reframe the minds of employees before they actually go out to deal with your guests. And so every shift start, there was like a 10-minute huddle. They actually employed somebody to write the huddle. So you didn't have to write it. They employed somebody to write the huddle, and they disseminated it out to the managers to lead the huddles. In the huddle, they may have a tip of the day. They may pull something from TripAdvisor that was commending an employee, but it was a reminder that, hey, we're here to serve the customers. Our personal issues, yes, we have them. We have to learn to manage them and put the customer first. Like, they did a really good job of bringing the customer to the forefront of the employee's mind before those employees went out to deal with the customers.
Wow.
And that's something that I highly, highly recommend.
Every day.
Every shift, because there were multiple
Oh,
shifts.
okay.
So every shift before a shift started, there would be this huddle, and that huddle would be, this is what we're focused on, this particular element of customer service, or here's what our customers are saying, or so it was really good. It was reward and recognition. Again, it comes back to culture. Right? I don't know if they still do it today, but I know back then it was a great way of listening to your employees, rewarding your employees, sharing information that guests shared with the organization as well. So I highly recommend by the time your employee reached to work, they didn't cuss 10 people because of the traffic. They didn't have to deal with them churn. They had to pack lunch for, get them dressed, carry them to school. Then they tired because they didn't have enough sleep. So before they go out to touch your customers, help them reframe.
Yeah. Wow.
Help them reframe.
It really, I'm telling you, you can see this, right? Because most people seem to be so casual about this. This is exactly the way we are with everything in the country.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Guarantee you they don't do that anymore. Whatever you're talking about, I guarantee you they don't.
I don't know, boy. It's been a number of years since I've been there.
Wow.
But yeah.
Let's take this call really quickly. We're running out of time. Good morning. You're on the air. Are you there? Hi. Good morning. Okay. Hi. You're on the air. Good morning. Are you there?
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, this is a topic you need to have basically every day. Believe me, because we go through some trouble out here, and probably that's why a lot of people are frustrated in the mornings and stuff. You know.
Absolutely.
I even think the government should have somebody like a Romeo Farrington to teach those young taxi drivers some things. You know,
yeah.
We really have a lot of. I think basically the employees need to talk to all these people. You know,
Okay.
honestly.
Thank
you.
Anyway, you all have a nice morning.
Thank you very much. Sounds like you got your hands full there.
Yeah.
So deal with that. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's read these messages. This person says here, when I was traveling with a coworker to Family Island, she presented her driver's license as an ID with her picture and name, of course. And the person tells her, oh, this is expired. She presented her NIB card, which, like all of us know, or they are expired, and they're being told, right? You're being told to don't watch that, right? Despite the fact that she has a unique name and was on the booking, and no one would pick this as a fake name, I guess the people were not willing to work with her and were giving her a hard time.
Wow. I think in instances like that, like, you know, they could have a manager intervene and make a decision. If it's for picture purposes, you do need a valid ID. But we all know certain IDs like the NIB, you have challenges with. So a special call could be made in certain circumstances. And considering she had both, you know, a manager could have intervened to make a decision in that regard.
This person says here, the foundation home training is lacking in many instances. There's no good morning, please, thank you, or in the home. And so this is new to them when they start a career. It's a customer service position. Wow.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. We have evolved into a not nice set of people. We practice punishing people and displaying disgusting behavior. Very sad.
Yeah,
Wow.
it is. We don't speak to people generally. We walk. Back in the day, you walk past someone, you would say morning, afternoon. We've become Americanized in not speaking, just walking.
This person says, Sarah, I would like to be the first to testify that in the public service, when you're given top service, your leaders look down on you or transfer you somewhere else.
What?
I used to work in a government department in the Carmichael area, and people used to come from everywhere just because of the top service that I offered to the customer. But the management thought that something must be going wrong because so many people started talking about going to the place where I was.
Wow.
That's
crazy. But it's so sad when you can't trust that someone is giving good service because they give good service without getting grease up. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. This one's, I've got to summarize because we're running out of time. This person is saying people keep going to places with bad service because they often have a monopoly. But for those other businesses where there is competition, you must be prepared to boycott because of bad service.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. People call the names of companies that have terrible customer service. Yes.
Yeah.
And they're saying this is a part of the problem. You all aren't calling the names. Well, you know, it's a little trickier.
Yeah, it's tricky.
On commercial radio, where many of the people who are
pay for
potentially sponsors of the program, but you all know who they are.
Yeah,
and we all must act.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
This person says there's a bill payment location that must advertise for the worst employees possible.
Wow.
Every couple months, it's a new face with slightly altered bad service.
Wow.
This one lady had 5-inch extensions. Are we talking about hair or nails? Which one do you mean? What's the point of that on someone's job if the title isn't stripper? What now?
What?
She'd switch between having 2 to 5 minute conversations on her personal phone with a customer in front of her and then cackling it up with her coworkers. Where is the Minister of Tourism to look at his employees doing what they're doing while accepting? Oh, dear Lord. I just realized what they just did there.
Wow.
Oh, man, your text is something else. Okay, I get it. Wow, you got me. I should have paid more attention. Now we know what the company is.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That was slick.
Wow, and this final message here. That was something. Okay, where did it go? I got to read this one. All right, so this person says, I was appalled last week when patronizing a lumber business where employees were engrossed in their lewd discussion while I was trying to be served. They were so loud they couldn't even hear me when giving details about the purchase. Then after waiting a considerable amount of time for my purchase item to be cut, a customer of a different hue came in and got their item cut immediately. Then to save face, my item was reluctantly cut.
Wow.
I would fly to Home Depot in Alaska before patronizing that local business again.
Right.
But to provide some balance, I had a wonderful experience at a home improvement store on Wolf Road. The staff was customer-focused, friendly, helpful, and went beyond the call of duty to assist me. I ended up returning to that business many times and spending many thousands of my hard-earned dollars with them.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
That
so
proves
that's
it.
how we have to be, right?
Yeah.
So, DeQuesta, we may have to do this a little more often so people can really pay attention to this. And again, this is symptomatic of the challenges we face with each other on the streets that lead to the conflicts that we're having.
And it's also symptomatic of, or not symptomatic, it can actually go back to what's in our hearts because service is from the heart. So what's in your heart?
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, thank you again. I'll see you. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah,
apparently, you're going to be here for another special reason.
Yes.
You'll join us as well.
Yes.
So, DeQuesta, thank you so much.
Thank you too.
And be sure to pick up today's National Guardian and Guardian Business section. Great stories in there, including the government, police, and insurers formulating a plan to address uninsured vehicles and a whole lot more in the business section today. Guardian Business section in today's NASA Guardian. And Morning Blend Business brought to you in part by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. Again, I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend Business and Morning Blend right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great day, everybody. Stay tuned for On the Clock next on Guardian Radio.